Hey guys, we'll talk about WORX. It's the only thing I traded. I wanted to be short focused today, and ENVB shares were too expensive, so I traded this instead. So kind of, it's not really three patterns, but one that I missed, which was I would say this candle was a lot better than this candle. Even though now in a weaker market, what we're getting is more normal weak market price action where you're getting. We saw this on the penny stock, so OTRK did this today. Um, the APM push did this today, where you get like an initial parabolic. It falls to like the 1 minute 20 and or the 1 minute 50, and it's just giving a lower high. Nice little aggressive move towards highs, and then it's pulling right. So we're getting to weaker market price action. I went for a little classic short here. In my Discord, I have a whole section. I revamped my Discord, by the way, try to simplify it a little more. But I have a whole section about how on these high volatility stocks, usually in low float land, you get a pattern where a stock is essentially being walked down. This has painted lower highs, which can be bullish. But given the market conditions and given the fact that it went parabolic out of the gate, um, usually in a weaker market, a lot of stocks that just go parabolic out of the gate will almost give a long trap right away, do something like this. So I was looking for the short, just because that's what the market's been saying. And we had, you had these higher lows. You had a VWAP swipe, and then an aggressive move towards highs. And during this consolidation, I said in my Discord, I'm like, I'm looking for a push to 3.5. I was also possibly looking for a high day clear out, because high day clear outs have been working past, 4 or 5 trading days. So we got the move. There was a bunch of bids here. They swiped the bids and had an aggressive initiation to the upside. And during that initiation, I'm pretty much looking at two things. I'm looking at the asks getting filled. What they'll do is they'll stack a bunch of asks that get filled on the upside, and which is a good thing. It's actually bearish. And then I'm looking for a lack of bid follow up on the book map, right? So I saw both those things, and I went in, and it seemed to work right away. And I was in like the high 330s, and then what happened was really interesting. It fell to the 1 minute 50. So this is the 1 minute 50 exponential moving average, right? Which on these strong manipulated stocks can be, in the right context, a very strong support level, right? So if you've been watching my videos, you'll see what usually happens on these. First of all, we got a quick pullback, so it creates a bunch of empty space on the book, which it was pretty empty. And what they'll do is they'll start stacking layers of bids down here. And both those things started happening, which is why I took a little bit off, because I'm like, well, I told my Discord, it's like this would be where the long entry is. Like if you're long biased, because what is the bullish pattern here, right? The bullish pattern, besides the quick pullback to the 1 minute 50, also near market open. So near market open is going to have much higher volatility than on the backside, as we talked about before. And we have lower high paint, and that paint is at 3.5. So fake half-dollar resistance, right? They love to make half-dollar and whole dollar seem like really strong resistance levels, and then squeeze those, which is how these, gigantic green squeeze candles happen. So, I already told them, I was like, the long is closer to 3, and you're risking the bids on a 1 minute 50. And hilariously, a bunch of people on my Discord went long here. They went long, and they squeezed me. They squeezed me. They're supporting the bid, whatever. But I told them like, hey, that's what the long pattern would be in this context. The quick 1 minute 50 pullback, the bullish volume. Obviously the volume is very big, very consistent. The lower high paint. And that's why actually I got out right away, because instead of risking high day or risking 350, I already know just from experience that this is bullish, right? I even in my Discord literally like right before it initiated right here, I was like, this is where the rotation would be. It's like it's rotating, and I could see they started throwing up bids to push the stock up, right? So I'm like, Um, I was like, I expect a rotation to come, and as soon as it started getting super aggressive towards my average, I just got out the rest of my shares just because I know how extreme this chart pain is. I know that this is the MA they like to hold, and I could see the bids, right? So everything is pointing, there's no, maybe some crazy big brain thing happened like this. Anything's possible, but um, instead of waiting to get, 20-cent slippage on this squeeze, even though Trade Zero actually tends to be pretty good about not having a whole lot of slippage, but I just got out near break even. So it's just something I've seen too many times before. Didn't even need to question it. Also, WorkX is like a former meme stock runner, which is not really like your standard like day one low flow cappers. I thought it could be bullish. But yeah, what I missed was um, these failed rotations up here, right? Uh, they had big asks stacked at $4. What they were doing is they were filling these asks and they were pushing it and then they pulled it. I just thought they did that here and then they started to reclaim. I thought this was gonna push. Honestly, that's why I didn't take this candle. And then I didn't want to chase down here. So I thought this was gonna push. It didn't push. Um, it just ended up knifing, and then I'm like, well, you know, it started giving lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. I'm like, well, there's nothing you can really do. Um, in terms of the setups I like to trade, I don't just short lower highs because either you take these candles up here, right? Or I just avoid the play. I mean, that's how I trade. So it just protects me a lot from chasing random lower highs, random lower highs. And then what happened was, if we look at this, we had very classic fake VWAP resistance. And this is really important right here because this shows how stocks behave midday, right? You could see how quickly patterns happen in the morning, right? You get aggressive long traps, aggressive short traps, super, instant squeezes. Stocks take 10 minutes to soak and rotate and stuff like that. But once you get to, 10:30, especially past 10:30, the patterns happen over the course of an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. And in a weaker market, especially in these higher volume plays, you get backside clearouts like this. Really nice, really painted backside clearouts, right? So I see a bunch of lower highs, and I see VWAP resistance here, VWAP resistance here, and then I see it here. And not only that, something really interesting happened here. At the bid, we'll see this on the book map, they threw up 130,000 shares on the bid to hold the stock up, which on backs in terms of a backside short is actually bearish because that means $3 becomes a target for later, right? They're purposely putting a bid there. So people are going to be putting their stops here because they think $3. Obviously, $3 looks really strong, looks really strong, looks really strong, and that's what makes this fade, all the more bigger, right? And what they did was really interesting. Right before this push, they pulled that bid. That there was like 140,000 shares. They pulled like 100K of it. So there's only like, because $3 is always going to have a bid no matter what. But the person kind of supporting the stock pulled most of their shares, and then I wanted VWAP to get squeezed, right? This 3.4 VWAP level. And then this was an incredibly easy read because right around here, they put like 40,000 shares on the ask at 3.5. And what we learned about backside shorts is they like to fill those asks before pulling the stock, right? So they go up to the ask, they fill the ask, it's at a key level, it pushes a little bit above it, and that's what causes the knife. So we'll see this all play out on the book. Real quickly, let's go to the morning. All right. So here's the morning push. Here's the lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. And here's that move, right? Support swipe into aggressive initiation. And in a weak market, this could be very, very weak, right? It looks strong, right? But what happens is a lot of times on this pushes, you can see the ask getting filled. You can see the ask getting filled. You can see a little bit again filled up here. I actually thought it might break 3.5. So I was waiting, but once it started stalling really hard, I started shorting the play, and then you can see the lack of bid follow up, right? So this is really how this type of, you know, low floaty, volatile price action tends to work, right? It's the support swipe into a big push. It hits a seller, usually below a level where people expect the stock to break out, or maybe it swipes the breakout level and then pulls. You kind of have to make a judgment call. But I did like how close this got to high day. I like how there's no bid follow up. I like the ask rating filled. And then here is that pullback. And here's the 1 minute 50, guys. Here's those bids. 4 layers of bids. Not a lot of asks following us down. And this is just one of those situations where a long trap becomes a short trap. It's going to happen. It's just going to happen. I have plays from, look at here. I'll show you. This is from my Discord, by the way. So in my Discord, I have a whole section about, kind of these aggressive long traps becoming short traps, like these aggressive moves. So I can pull it. I have it based on my memory. VERB from this day, right here. It's the same idea. Aggressive move towards high day. You long trap it. You throw up a bunch of bids and you squeeze, right? And that's what happened on WORX. We saw this on Bets. Bets is now on the OTC, by the way. But if we go back to this day, it's a similar thing. So here's like high days over here, or around. It's technically here, but whatever. Get aggressive push. Huge knife. Looks like a massive long trap. In this case, the support, instead of 1 minute 50, it's 1 minute 20, and you squeeze, right? It's a long trap into a short trap, right? It's just how these stocks move. So anytime you take, and I took this short, right? Anytime you take a candle like this, because you see the aggressive push swiping the backside levels, everyone thinks it's going to go squeeze high day. It has a nice book map where it's a fill in a big ask, fill in a big ask, fill in a big ask, no bid following up. They pull it, right? Everything looks nice. But you always got to look left, right? You're always looking left at the paint, right? See what happens. So back to WORX for today. There's 1 minute 50. There's the bids. They start to rotate it. I don't even need to bother. Where's my book map? There we go. And you can see a little bid following this up, catching the selling before they squeeze it. I already got out. I was like, it's gonna. If anything, I should have longed. Right? I should have flipped long. It was actually 100% the play. I was just so bearish going in today. I wasn't really thinking the long too much. But yeah, here's those $4 swipes. $4 swipe. No bid. They pull it. Here's another one. Fill the ask. No bid following up. They pull it, right? I just wasn't anticipating it. I thought this push would squeeze. But yeah, let's go to the backside. Backside clear out. So down here, we can see the $3 bidder. And Bookmap is only showing 45K, but it was over 100K, probably closer to 130, 140. So just how there's fake VWAP resistance, there's also, fake whole dollar resistance. There's also fake whole dollar support. It just depends. This stock already did 1 big squeeze, 2 big squeeze in a weakening environment, right? So given the context of what already happened earlier in the chart, stuff like this could be bearish, right? It could be very bearish when 120,000 share bid shows up at a whole dollar to prop up the stock. And then here's what happened. So here's the fake VWAP resistance at 3.4. They start to rotate it, and here's that ask. You can see it right here. It was more than this, but it says 44,000 shares on the ask. It's simply what they do is their whole mission is they get that filled. They're building liquidity on the backside, and you can see them start to pull the bid lower. Look at them pull the bid as this starts to push, right? The bid at $3 starts to get real thin, right? Here's the 3.5 level. They fill it. They get a little retail chase right here, pops above it, and then they execute the trap, and that's it. It was a bunch of people in my room caught this. Clean backside short, super clean. And now it's just kind of chopping around. The 5-minute 200's down here. I was just gonna aim for that. But yeah, I was happy to get a nice clean backside play like this. So, and you can see the lack of bid follow up too, and just complete lack of bid follow up. Just trying to fill that ask and pull the stock. Yeah, I liked this huge bid coming in. When I saw this huge bidder hold, he came in right around here. You can see it went from like 10K to like, it actually went from like 10,000 shares to like 120,000 shares. Just DXF feed on my book map doesn't show every single bid that's on the book. So, and I like that it was holding because it just made me think that just becomes a target later on a backside short. And besides that, that was about it for today. Yeah, ENVB. I don't know. WORX was the most constructive. I mean, it was the most. It gave the cleanest patterns, long and short. You know, sadly, my short pattern turned into a short trap. It just happens. And yeah, and that's 1026 push. I just missed a read. Just missed a read up there, and I felt like I wasn't. I felt I might have missed a trade, but whenever I see like a million, and by the way, look at this. This is how you have to think. This is what shorts kind of have to understand. Like, this candle happened at 1026. It stopped making lows around here at 1 o'clock. So you're talking an hour and a half, downtrend, right? And then another half an hour to actually rotate. So you have to sit through, an hour and a half, 2 hours on the backside. You're just waiting, and it's going down, it's going down, it's going down, it's going down. At this point in my career, I just consider a million lower highs to be potentially bullish, and I just don't feel that much FOMO from it, right? And I'm definitely not just going to blindly short into VWAP. Look how painted, VWAP's the blue line, by the way. Look how painted they made it look. Here. I wasn't even thinking of shorting here. I was like, I really told my Discord, I was like, I really want them to squeeze the VWAP. Like, it's kind of in most contexts, it's kind of like a noob's, resistance level. It's just kind of like just blindly shorting in a half and whole dollar, right? It's not that it's always a bad idea. It's just in most contexts, it's used to trap short liquidity for a push, especially in these higher volume names, right? So yeah, that was the play. 3.5. If you're wondering why this happened and how me and a bunch of other people on my Discord were able to short it, I mean, just understand, like, a lot of down only is building backside liquidity, right? And especially in a weaker market, stocks can only do aggressive traps like this so many times, right? So, anyways, WORX, interesting ticker, and that'll be it for today. You guys have a good one. See ya.